Breaking news. The Russian government has designated the American Wild Salmon Center as an undesirable group. On Tuesday, Russia designated the American conservation NGO Wild Salmon Center, WSC, as a undesirable group, saying it was harming Russia's economy. Because of the designation, the WSC cannot continue its work in Russia to protect wild salmon populations and their habitats. Russian citizens are not permitted to have any contact with what the government deems to be undesirable groups. The Prosecutor General's office released a statement explaining its decision, in which it accused the WSC of using its activities as a cover for the implementation of projects aimed at restraining Russia's economic development. According to the document, the NGO was also advocating for seemingly beneficial initiatives to create specially protected natural areas, SPNAs, in the Russian Far East with the aim of excluding these territories from use, restricting fishing activities for Russian industrial companies, and blocking gas and oil extraction industries in the Sakhalin region in the interests of foreign non-governmental companies and individuals. The Wild Salmon Center has been fighting for the rights of Pacific salmon since its founding in 1992. The group's efforts in Russia's Far East included ecotourism for fishers and studies of the Siberian taimen population. As stated on their website, WSC is working to ensure that Russia's prime salmon territories stay intact, through protected areas, sustainable fisheries, scientific research, ecotourism and sportfishing development, and community-based conservation initiatives. Russia has recently cracked down on environmental conservation initiatives, especially those linked to foreign-based organizations, and WSC's labeling as undesirable is the latest episode. In May and June, respectively, the Prosecutor General's office deemed the Russian branches of Greenpeace and the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, undesirable, for obstructing the country's economic development. In December, after being labeled a foreign agent, Russian authorities shut down the Sakhalin Environment Watch, another conservation NGO operating in the country's Far East. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia is leaving the door open for a possible presidential run in 2024. Trump claims the DOJ has informed him that he is under investigation for conspiring to thwart the results of the 2020 presidential election. Rick Newman, a senior columnist for Yahoo Finance, discusses the latest political news. 01:05 Putin's war in China. The Golden Arches theory holds that peace can be maintained between nations as long as each has a McDonald's restaurant. Thomas L. Friedman, a columnist for The New York Times, first proposed the concept in 1996, and he wasn't the only one who saw the potential in it. The theory's underlying belief that capitalism equals democracy was popular during the Cold War and gained momentum in the 1990s after the fall of the Soviet Union. The logic went that if someone did well in an American company, they would have no choice but to back American democracy. Do not confuse free markets with free men. Safronov made the futile decision to chain himself to the final McDonald's in Moscow. After Russian President Vladimir Putin began bombing Ukraine, where there are, for the record, more than 100 McDonald's, the burger chain, along with nearly every other American airline, retailer, and bank, shut down its operations in Russia. The reality of international relations is that while capitalism could be a driving force in the spread of democracy, this is not a one-way street.